Some places whisper forgotten stories. Others, they scream them. What if the most beautiful spot hides a scar? A secret that changes lives and left an indelible mark on time itself. Hey, all you adventurers out there, I'm David, and today we're diving deep into one of Ontario's most enchanting yet overlooked waterfalls. Hoggs Falls, you might know it from stunning photographs or drone footage, or maybe you've heard whispers about the legendary rope that takes you down to the bottom of the plunge pool, to its base. But what if I told you that the real story of this place isn't about the beauty, but about the forgotten ambition, a tragic fire, and a profound lesson etched into the very stones beneath our feet? I want you to stick around because what we're about to uncover here is far more than just your typical waterfall. To truly understand Hoggs Falls, you can't just look at it. You have to feel the history. This isn't just a beautiful spot on the Boyne River. It's a thriving archive in the woods of Ontario. Most people come here for the scenery, for the beauty, maybe a hike, maybe even an exhilarating climb down the rope to the base. And trust me, the view from down there is absolutely worth it. But before you get to the plunge pool, something else grabs your attention, literally right at the top of the waterfalls. These just aren't old rocks. This is a ghost, a skeleton of the remains of a dream. These concrete crumbling foundations, they belong to William Hogg's Sawmill, built right here upstream from what was then called Little Falls in the late 1870s. This dam, or what's left of it, was the heart of his operation. It controlled the water that powered his entire livelihood. And if you look closely here, you can still make out the faint markings, perhaps even a date, a silent testament to the moment in time when this river wasn't just scenery, but a force of commerce, tamed for human ambition for 18 years. But what started out as William Hogg's amazing dream, it actually turned to ash. In 1888, his mill burned to the ground, but he moved on, tried new ventures, even ambitiously attempted a hydroelectric powered dam at Lake Eugenia at the falls, but it failed as well. But here at Hoggs Falls, he left behind these ruins, and that's where the profound lessons lie. We build, we strive, we try to harness the immense power of nature for our own ends. And look, we leave our marks, our concrete, our dams. But in the end, whether by fire, flood, or simply by slow, relentless march of time, nature always claims its own. These ruins aren't just historical artifacts. They are a stark, beautiful reminder of humanity's fleeting imprint versus the eternal power of the wild. So the next time that you visit Hoggs Falls, don't just see the beautiful waterfall. See the ghosts of William Hogg's ambition. Feel the power of the water that destroyed his dream, yet shaped the landscape into something even more breathtaking. And remember that profound, humbling truth that's whispering by the river that some things, no matter how hard we try to control them, will always belong to the wild. If you've been to Hoggs Falls or know of other places with incredible hidden histories, share them in the comments. I would love to know. A little history for you. The Hogg family of Toronto, which is known as Hoggs Hollow. The Toronto Hogs originated with James Hogg. He was born in 1797 and died in 1839. He was a Scottish immigrant from Lancashire who came to Upper Canada around 1824. He purchased about 200 acres in what is now Yonge Street and York Mills, building a grist mill, sawmill, a distillery on the Don River, as Hoggs Hollow named after him. After James's death in 1839, his sons John and William subdivided and developed the land in the 1850s, forming the village of Hoggs Hollow. Their operation included millworks, farming, real estate development with deep Scottish Methodist roots in Toronto and nearby colonial society. It seems that William Hogg of Hoggs Falls, which is where we are today, this is where he built a sawmill and he tried to do a hydroelectric project in the 1870s to the 1890s. At first at Little Falls and later called Hoggs Falls, and then at Eugenia Falls. The time period, roughly 1875 to 1895, matches the generation after James Hogg's son, implying that this William was likely a younger family member branching out into Grey County as land opened up for lumber and development. Naming patterns also support this. It was common in settler families to reuse given names, James, John, William, across generations. Many Toronto families moved north into Grey and Bruce counties after the 1850s to access timberlands and sheep property. The Hoggs fit that pioneer expansion pattern. What I find fascinating, since I'm a real estate agent, I kind of looked back in history in our land registry system to see the history of the land, but it's just crown land. And it got me into thinking, well, how can it be back into the hands of the crown? And so I looked a little bit further, and from what I can gather, in all likelihood, all land in Grey County, as it became crown land in the 1800s, was granted to settlers as the forest was open for colonization. By the 1870s, William Hogg purchased, or was granted, I think it was granted, Lot 143, Concession 3 East, about 100 to 150 acres along the Boyne River. He built a sawmill and a dam. That was around 1878. But as I had talked about, the industry was short-lived and the mill burned down in the 1880s, and the site was never rebuilt. So how it ended up back in the Crown possession was either abandonment or taxed, or it was either abandoned or he didn't pay his taxes. But I can't find anything about that. But after the fire, there's no record of William Hogg rebuilding or maintaining permanent residence there. Apparently had a little store up in Lake Eugenia. And so in rural Ontario, if taxes went unpaid, the property reverted back to the Crown under the Municipal Act and Titles Act. Under the Municipal Act and Titles Act. Counties periodically auctioned tax-arreared properties, and unsold parcels automatically became forfeited to the Crown. The remote, forested lots along the Boyne River were poor farmland. There were steep ravines. They were low value and often abandoned rather than redeemed. So it's most certain that Hogg's lot followed the path somewhere between 1890 and 1910. And if I dive back a little bit into more history, I was able to find there's a reference of William Hogg passing away of kidney failure in Toronto in 1905, August 6th. And I think that would be the William Hogg of Hoggs Falls right here. So it's amazing when you go to a place, it looks so beautiful and you wonder, how did it become this? I mean, before European settlers, the natives, the indigenous people of the land, this was probably their hunting ground and fishing ground. So Canada's got a short history, but it's always fun to explore. It's really important to know that Hoggs Falls is on Crown land. So you're entering this area at your own risk. So pay attention, wear the right kind of shoes. Depending on how long you're going out for a hike or whatever, it's very easy to get into this place. It's got a parking lot, it's got a information board and everything else about what's here. But I mean, the falls are like probably maybe about a 5-minute walk from the parking lot, but you really want to pay attention to where you're standing. There's no railings around this waterfall or anything like that. The rope is sketchy at best. You really do need to enter at your own risk. And if you do something like this, so please be safe. And it's not for the faint-hearted either, right? Like, it is a plunge waterfall. This is, I'm in October right now, and it's not buggy. There's, it's slippery, right? Because it's raining. You got leaves on the ground. The rocks and roots are covered, so you got to pay attention to where you're stepping and whatever. So there are things that you need to look out for. But it's a beautiful area, and not many people know about it. Sure, it runs through the Bruce Trail, and there's a lot of people that don't know what the Bruce Trail is. And if that's one of you, then you can do your own research, but it is the longest trail in Canada. It starts in Niagara-on-the-Lake and goes all the way up to Tobermory to the north. So it's a vast trail network. Sometimes you're going over private land, so you got to pay attention. You don't want to litter. You want to take everything out that you take in with you. It is serene and beautiful in here. And can you imagine being William Hogg back all those years ago in the 1800s, coming to this area and seeing this amazing river, the Boyne River? Now, the thing is that was a long time ago. That's over 100 years ago. That's like 150 years ago when you think about it. And the amount of water that used to be here is obviously way more than what it is now. This is October. There's not a lot of water going through, but I was here in the springtime, and man, the spring runoff was crazy. It was fast. So I could see how he wanted to build, a sawmill on this plot of land. I could see it. But I guess after the fire, he didn't want to rebuild because maybe it just wasn't working for him. And he decided to go up to Lake Eugenia and check out the Eugenia Falls. And he set up an operation there for electric power. But it didn't work. And then Georgian Bay Hydro kind of came and they bought the rights or whatever it was. And they tried it and they went bankrupt. So this area was obviously not the spot for hydroelectricity. Even though there was water, maybe it wasn't significant. Who knows? It was a long time ago. But what I can say is this area is absolutely beautiful. And when I discovered it for myself, like over 20 years ago, I was like, wow, this is incredible. And it's changed over the time, right? More and more people have kind of found it. But still, there's so many people that don't even know that this even exists. So it's a pretty special place. Hopefully you guys liked today's video. I'm trying to make them a little bit more interesting in some of the places that I go. So I'm just kind of experimenting along the way. So like I always say, get out and explore. See you on the next one. And look, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more adventures, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next journey into the untold stories of our wild Ontario landscape. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. So like I always say, get out